Victoria Chun sat alone in the communications room of the Earth Orbital Station. It was 3 in the morning. Most people were sleeping. The station was quiet, except for the soft sound of machines working. She held a cup of coffee that was now cold. Her eyes watched the screens in front of her. Hundreds of signals from different parts of space came through these screens every day. Most were normal. Trade ships talking to each other. Scientists sending messages. News broadcasts from colonies far away. But Victoria was good at her job. She could hear the difference between normal signals and something wrong. At 3:47 in the morning, something changed. A signal came through that made Victoria sit up straight in her chair. It was weak. Very weak. Like someone was calling from very far away. But it was human. She could tell. The pattern was human. She moved her fingers across the keyboard. The signal was breaking up, disappearing and coming back. Like the person sending it was trying hard, but something was stopping them. Victoria increased the volume. The signal became clearer. Words started to form. Not clear words. Broken words. Desperate words. Colony 7. Under attack. They are everywhere. Weapons. Please. Anyone. Colony 7 calling. Please respond. We have children here. We cannot hold. Victoria's heart beat faster. Colony 7. She knew that name. 50 years ago, a human ship had left Earth and traveled far into space. It was supposed to start a new colony. After 50 years, no one thought about it much anymore. The galaxy was large. There were many colonies, but this one still existed. And it was in trouble. She recorded the signal. She played it again and again. Each time the message was the same. Desperate. Afraid. Real. Victoria did not waste time. She stood up and ran from the communications room. She went to find Commander Daniel Reeves. His office was not far. She did not use the elevator. She took the stairs. Her heart was racing. This was important. This was very important. Commander Reeves was sleeping in his office. He did this often. He was not young anymore. He was 45 years old. His brown hair was turning gray. He had seen a lot in his life. He had made hard choices before. Victoria turned on the light. Reeves woke up fast. He was a good commander. Good commanders wake up ready for anything. We have a distress signal, Victoria said. She did not waste words. Colony 7. They are under attack. Reeves stood up. His tired face became alert. He put on his uniform shirt that was on his chair. Play it, he said. Victoria played the signal through the speaker on Reeves' computer. The desperate voice filled the small office. A voice of someone who was scared. A voice of someone who thought help might not come. A voice that was calling into the dark of space and hoping someone would hear. How long ago? Reeves asked. Signal is 6 hours old. It is breaking up. But the location is clear. They are very far from here. Very far. Reeves nodded. He understood what this meant. Colony 7 was at the edge of human space. It was far from any major fleet. It was far from help. And now it was under attack from something unknown. We need to tell Admiral Sullivan, Reeves said. Now, Admiral Marcus Sullivan was the head of Deathworlder fleet operations. He was the most important man in human military space. He was 58 years old and had spent 40 years in the military. He had made tough decisions that saved thousands of lives. He had also made decisions that cost lives. That was the job. Sullivan was in the command center when Reeves and Victoria arrived. He was looking at star maps. When he saw Reeves' face, he knew something was wrong. We have found a human colony that is under attack, Reeves said. Colony 7. The signal came 6 hours ago. Sullivan listened to the signal. He listened without moving. When it ended, he was quiet for a moment. "Colony 7, Sullivan said. His voice was calm, but his eyes were intense. That colony was supposed to be lost decades ago. After the first 50 years, no one heard from them. We tried sending ships. Nothing. We thought they died out or left. We stopped trying. They did not die out, Victoria said. They survived. And now they need us." Sullivan moved to the star map. He touched the area where Colony 7 was located. It was far. Very far. It would take weeks for any ship to reach it at normal speed. It would take months for a normal military force. But Sullivan knew something that most people did not know. He moved to another screen. On this screen was a map that showed something else. It showed where every human fleet in known space was located. The map showed dozens of ships, hundreds of ships, thousands of ships. All of them belonged to humanity. All of them were waiting. "There is an old protocol," Sullivan said. He looked at Reeves and Victoria. "It was made by our ancestors. When humans are in real danger, when humans need help and no one else can help them, there is a signal, a message that goes to every human fleet." "The Unity Protocol," Reeves said. He had heard about it, but he never thought he would see it used. "Yes," Sullivan said. "No one has used it in 60 years. Because we have not had to. But now we do." Sullivan turned to his communication officer. "Send the signal. Send it to every human fleet in known space. Tell them that humans are in danger. Tell them that our people need us. Tell them to come to Colony 7. The communication officer nodded. He began to work. His fingers moved across the keyboard. The message went out. It went out through quantum communicators that move faster than light. It went to ships near and far. It went to military fleets and science ships. It went to every human in space. Within hours, responses began to come back. Fleet after fleet confirmed that they had received the message. Fleet after fleet said that they were coming. Reeves watched the star map change. The small dots that showed human ships began to move. They moved toward one point in space. Toward Colony 7. Toward people who thought they might die alone in the dark of space, but who now knew that help was coming, that humans never abandoned their own. "How many ships do you think will come?" Victoria asked. Sullivan looked at the map. More and more ships were confirming. The number kept growing. 100, 200, 500, 1,000, 2,000. "All of them," Sullivan said. "They will all come. Because we are human. And humans protect each other. Always." The message came like lightning. It came to every human ship in known space. It came to the military fleets. It came to science ships. It came to small colony vessels and large cargo ships. The message was simple and clear. Humans were in trouble. They needed help. All human ships were to move toward Colony 7. Now, Captain Elena Harrows was in the command center of the Titan fleet. The Titan fleet had over 200 ships. It was one of the largest human military forces in space. Elena stood and looked at the star maps. She was 40 years old. Her hair was black. Her eyes were sharp. She had served in the military for 20 years. She had fought in 3 wars. She had lost friends in battle. But she had never seen this signal before. The communication officer looked at her. "Orders, Captain?" he asked. Elena did not need to think. She had trained for this moment. She had trained all of her soldiers for this moment. "All ships," she said. "Now, full speed toward Colony 7 coordinates. Tell every captain that we move as one. No ship gets left behind. No ship fails to follow orders. We are going to save our people." The order went out. The Titan fleet began to move. 200 ships turned from their positions. 200 ships began to move toward a point very far away. 200 ships began to move because one human colony was calling for help. But the Titan fleet was not alone. Colonel Nathan Cross was commanding the Valiant Strike Force. The Valiant Strike Force was doing border patrol work. They were watching the edges of human space, making sure no enemy came through. Nathan was 48 years old. He was a soldier his whole life. His family had been soldiers. His father had been a general. His mother had been a pilot. Nathan was born to protect people. When the signal came, Nathan was in a meeting with his officers. He stopped the meeting. He read the message twice. "We have orders," Nathan said. "We are moving the entire strike force to Colony 7. We are moving now. Prepare all ships for faster than light travel." His officers understood. They did not question him. They did not ask if they had enough fuel. They did not ask if the journey was too long. They asked one question. "When do we leave?" Nathan said, "Right now. Tell all captains to begin preparations immediately." The Valiant Strike Force began to move. 50 ships turned and moved toward Colony 7. 50 ships of soldiers who were ready to fight, ready to die if they had to, because humans were in trouble. On a science ship called the Discovery, things were different. Dr. Margaret Foster was a scientist, not a soldier. She was 55 years old. She had spent her whole life studying space and the things in it. She was very smart. She had made many discoveries. She had written many papers. Her science fleet was not made for war. It was made for learning and exploration. But Margaret had also lived in space for a long time. She understood something important. Sometimes you have to stop doing what you plan to do. Sometimes you have to help when people need you. Margaret was in her office when the signal came. She read it. She stood up. She walked to the command center. "Change our course," she told her navigation officer. "We are going to Colony 7. But Dr. Foster, the navigation officer, said, "We are in the middle of research. We have equipment that is very expensive. The journey will take weeks. We will lose all of our current data." Margaret looked at the officer. "Our people need us," she said. "The research can wait. The data can wait. People cannot wait. Change our course, now." The science fleet changed direction. 75 ships began to move. They were not made for war. They did not have big weapons. But they were human. And human ships were moving to help other humans. One by one, across the galaxy, human ships received the message. One by one, they began to move. Small outposts sent their ships. Independent vessels that were not part of any large fleet answered the call. Trading ships that carried no weapons turned toward the colony. Even colony ships that were traveling to settle new worlds changed their route stop by the end of the first day. Over 2,000 human ships were moving. The galaxy noticed that the Kepler Trading Commission was not human. They had existed for thousands of years. They were not warriors. They were traders. They bought and sold things. They made money from trade between different species. When they saw 2,000 human ships moving together, they watched carefully. Why do the humans move together like this? One Kepler asked another. "I do not know," the second Kepler answered. "But it is fast. It is organized. They move like hunters, like soldiers, not like traders." The Kepler Trading Commission sent a message to other species. They told them what the humans were doing. They told them that human ships were moving together, that something was happening. The Voltorians heard the news. The Voltorians were warriors. They were strong. They had conquered many worlds. They had always believed that humans were weak. Humans were new to space. Humans were not organized. Humans fought amongst themselves too much, but the Voltorians were watching the human ships move. They were watching thousands of ships turn and move together. They were watching it happen so fast, so organized, so dangerous. "What is happening?" asked the Valtorian commander. "I do not know," said the Valtorian strategist. "But I think we should not get in their way." In the station where Admiral Sullivan waited, new signals came in. Signals of humans answering the call. The numbers grew. 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. Sullivan looked at the star map. The whole map was changing. It was like watching a vast organism wake up. Like watching something that had been sleeping suddenly open its eyes. Victoria stood next to him. She was amazed. She was scared. She was proud. "So many," she said. "Yes," Sullivan answered. "This is what happens when you hurt one human. All humans come." This is what the old ones understood. This is why they made the protocol. Because humans are not like other species. When one human calls for help, all humans answer. The human fleets continued to move. Week after week, they moved through space. They moved toward a colony that had been forgotten. They moved toward people who had almost given up hope. In the command centers across human space, captains and commanders watched their ships move. They thought about the colony they were going to save. They thought about the people they would find there. They thought about the message they were sending to the galaxy. This message was simple. It said, "We are human. We do not forget each other. We do not leave each other to die alone. Come and try to hurt us if you want. Come and see what happens when thousands of human ships arrive to protect their own." On Colony 7, the people still fought. But they did not fight alone anymore. They did not know it yet. But their family was coming. Their entire human family was coming. 2 weeks passed. The human fleets were moving through space. They were moving fast. But space is big. Very big. The distance to Colony 7 was still far. Commander Daniel Reeves sent a message to all the fleet captains. In this message, he told them about strategy. He told them not to panic. He told them to save their weapons and fuel. But most of all, he told them about the people on Colony 7. "There are families there," Reeves wrote. "There are children. There are old people. There are people who have lived their entire lives on that colony. They are our people. We are going there to bring them home. We are going there to show them that they are not forgotten. That is our mission. That is why we are here. Remember this when you are tired. Remember this when the journey feels long." The message went to every human ship. Soldiers read it. Scientists read it. Everyone read it. On the Titan fleet, Captain Elena Harrows was training her crews. She put them through drills every day. She made them practice what to do when they arrived. She made them practice how to protect ships, how to evacuate people, how to fight if they had to. Elena walked through the training area. Soldiers were wearing combat suits. They were learning how to use weapons. They were learning how to move as a team. One young soldier asked Elena a question. "Captain, how many enemies will we face?" Elena stopped. She looked at the young soldier. His name was Marcus. He was 20 years old. This was his first real mission. "I do not know," Elena said. "But I know this. We will have 2,000 ships. We will have thousands of soldiers. We will have each other. And enemies who attack humans learn very quickly that humans do not break. We do not panic. We take care of each other. Remember that. It will matter more than weapons." On another ship, Ensign Jonathan Miles was working in communications. Jonathan was 24 years old. He was very good at his job. He was working with Lieutenant Victoria Chun. They were both managing all the messages between ships. Jonathan had never seen so many ships before. He had never managed so many communications channels. But he did his job. Every message that came through, he made sure it went to the right place. Every question from a captain, he helped find an answer. Victoria watched Jonathan work. She was proud of him. She was proud of all the young people who had answered the call. "You are doing well," she told him. "This is hard work. Many people could not do it." "I just want to help," Jonathan said. "I want to be part of saving those people. Everyone here wants to save them. I can feel it." Victoria nodded. She understood. This was what humans were. Humans came together when it mattered. Humans helped each other, even if they had never met before. Even if it cost them. Even if they had to travel through empty space for weeks. But not everyone was happy about this. Mission Vice Admiral Christopher Kane was commanding a fleet that was moving toward Colony 7. Kane was 52 years old. He was a careful man. He liked to follow rules. He liked to think about things before acting. Kane was in his command center when he saw how much fuel his fleet was using. He saw how many resources they were spending. He saw that they were moving very far away from human territory. He saw that they were leaving their regular patrol areas empty. Kane decided to send a message to Admiral Sullivan. "We are spending too many resources on this mission," Kane wrote. "We are leaving our borders unprotected. What if an enemy attacks while all our ships are here? What if we get attacked on the way to Colony 7? We need to think about this carefully. We need to make sure this is the right decision." The message went to Sullivan. Sullivan read it. He understood Kane's concern, but he also understood something else. Sullivan called Kane on a video message. "I understand you'll worry," Sullivan said, "but I want to tell you something. Many years ago, humans lived on a planet called Earth. This planet was difficult. It was dangerous. There were large animals that could kill humans. There was not enough food sometimes. The weather was harsh. Humans had to learn to survive on this world. This world made humans into what we are. We call ourselves Deathworlders because we came from a death world. But do you know what else this world taught us?" Kane waited. He listened. "It taught us that the only way to survive is together," Sullivan continued. "It taught us that when one human is in danger, all humans must help. It taught us that you do not leave anyone behind. It taught us that family comes first. This is in our blood. This is who we are. Colony 7 is our family. We will go there. We will save them. Or we will die trying. That is what being human means." Kane thought about this. He thought about his own family. He thought about how he would feel if they were in trouble and no one came to help. "I understand," Kane said. "I will do my job. I will help save Colony 7. The fleets continued to move. The days passed. Jonathan Miles sent message after message between ships. He heard soldiers talking about their families. He heard them talk about why they joined. He heard them talk about the colony they were going to save. Alina Harrows walked through the ship. She saw soldiers sleeping in small rooms. She saw them eating. She saw them training. She saw them writing letters to people on Earth. Letters that said, "I am going to save a human colony. I am going to bring them home safely. That is my promise." 3 weeks passed. Then 4 weeks. The fleets were getting closer. The distance to Colony 7 was getting smaller. One day, they picked up a signal. It was weak. It was from Colony 7. They were still there. They were still alive. They were still fighting. Reeves heard the signal. He called all the fleet commanders together on a video call. "We are close," he said. "Very close now. The colony is still there. They are still alive. In a few more days, we will arrive. When we arrive, we will defend them. We will fight if we have to, but we will bring them home. All of them. No one gets left behind. This is our mission. This is our duty as humans. Do you understand? Every commander answered the same. Yes, we understand. The fleets moved faster. The ships pushed harder. They moved through the darkness of space. Thousands of human ships, all moving toward one place, all moving to save their people. Elena stood on her command center and looked at the star map. The symbol for Colony 7 was getting bigger on the map, getting closer. Soon they would arrive. Soon the fighting would start. Soon they would have to show the galaxy what humans could do. She thought about what Admiral Sullivan said, about humans from Earth, about a death world that made humans strong, about the need to protect family. Elena put her hand on the symbol for Colony 7. "We are coming," she whispered. "Hold on, we are coming." The human fleets moved through space toward their destiny. The human fleets came out faster than light travel. They came out together, like a wave, like a storm, like something that had been building power for weeks and weeks. 2,000 ships appeared in the space around Colony 7 all at once. What they saw was not good. The colony was under attack. There was no doubt about this. The colony buildings were burning. Ships were falling from the sky. People were dying. But around the colony, something else was happening. Something that made even the experienced human commanders understand the danger. An alien force was there. The aliens called themselves the Crow. Nobody in human space had heard of them before. They were large ships. They were advanced ships. They had weapons that were strong. They were everywhere around the colony. They were everywhere in the sky. The Krell had been sleeping for a very long time. Thousands of years. In that sleep, they had forgotten about war. They had forgotten about fighting. They had forgotten what it meant to face an enemy. But they woke up near Colony 7, and they decided they wanted the colony's resources. They decided that humans were weak. They decided that humans would be easy to kill. The Krell did not expect 2,000 human ships to arrive. Governor Patricia Wells was in the colony command center. She was 60 years old. She had been the leader of Colony 7 for 15 years. She had watched the colony grow. She had watched people build lives there. She had watched children born in the colony. And now she was watching them die. The buildings were on fire. The water systems were broken. The power was failing. The people were hiding in shelters. They were scared. They were hungry. They were tired. Patricia was sitting in the command center when a message came through. A message from the human fleets. "This is Commander Daniel Reeves of Earth Collective Military. We have received your distress signal. We are here. We are bringing help. Protect your people. We are coming." Patricia read the message. She read it again. She could not believe it. So many ships. So many people had answered the call. After weeks of fighting. After weeks of losing people. After weeks of thinking they would die alone. Help had come. So much help. More help than she had dreamed possible. Patricia sent a message back to Reeves. She sent it with all the information she had about the Crow. She sent it with the locations of her people. She sent it with tears in her eyes because she knew that her colony would survive. She knew that her people would go home. In the human command centers, the fleet commanders looked at the information Patricia sent. They looked at the Krell ships. They looked at the weapons. They looked at the numbers. It was dangerous. Very dangerous. But they had 2,000 ships. They had thousands of soldiers. They had something else, too. They had a reason to fight. They had family to protect. Elena Harrows looked at the star map. She saw the Krell ships. She began to think. She began to plan. She had fought before. She had won battles before. But she had never fought something like this. The Krell ships were large. They were advanced. They were dangerous, but Elena also knew something. She knew how humans fought. She knew that humans did not give up. She knew that humans protected each other. She knew that humans would do anything to save their family. Elena sent orders to her fleet. Defensive formation around the colony. Protect the people on the ground. Protect the colony buildings. No Krell ship gets past us. The Titan fleet moved into position. 200 ships formed the shield around Colony 7. The other fleets did the same. 50 ships from Nathan Cross. 70 ships from Margaret Foster. Hundreds of ships from other commanders. A wall of human ships. A wall that said, "You cannot get past us. You cannot hurt them. We will protect them." The Krell commander was in his ship. He was an old Krell, very old. He had fought in many wars thousands of years ago, but he had never seen anything like this. "What is this?" the Krell commander asked. "Humans," one of his officers said. "There are many of them, more than we expected." The Krell commander laughed. He had no fear. "Humans are weak. We will destroy them. We will take their colony. We will take their resources." But something was wrong with what the Krell commander thought. The humans were not weak. The humans were Deathworlders. The humans were from a harsh planet. The humans knew how to fight. The humans knew how to survive. The humans knew how to protect their family. The first Krell ship moved toward the human wall. It moved fast. Its weapons were powerful. It fired at the closest human ship on, but the human ships moved. They moved together. They protected each other. When one human ship was hit, the others helped it. They covered its weaknesses. They helped it escape to safety. Elena watched from her command center. She gave orders. She was calm. She was focused. She was a soldier. This was what she had been trained for. "All ships move left," she said. "Cover the science ships. Protect their position. Do not let any Krell ship get past the defensive line." The human ships moved together. They moved like they had trained together for years. They moved like they had one mind. They moved like they were one family protecting each other. Jonathan Miles was in the communication center. He was sending orders from all the commanders to all the ships. He was sending updates about where Krell ships were. He was sending information about who needed help. His hands moved fast. His voice was calm. He did not panic. "All ships receiving orders," Jonathan said. "Defensive formation holding. No ships lost. Krell attacking from the south side. All ships redirect to support position 4. The human ships redirected. They moved to support position 4. They stopped the Krell attack. They saved the ships that were getting hit." The Krell commander realized something was wrong. His ships were not winning. His weapons were better. His ships were more advanced. But the humans were fighting together. The humans were protecting each other. The humans refused to die. The Krell commander had been sleeping for thousands of years. He had forgotten something important. He had forgotten what it meant to fight an enemy that would not give up. An enemy that would die to protect family. An enemy that was willing to sacrifice everything. On the colony surface, Governor Patricia Wells watched the sky. She watched human ships protect the colony. She watched human ships fight the Krell. She watched human ships die to save human lives. She saw soldiers getting hurt. She saw ships crashing. But she also saw the Krell ships falling back. She saw the human shield growing stronger. Patricia stood up in the command center. She looked at her people. She looked at the children. She looked at the old people. She looked at the families that had lived their whole lives on this colony. "We are going to be okay," she told them. "Our people are here. Our family is here. We are going to survive." In the command center, Elena Harrows looked at the battle map. The Krell were retreating. They were moving back. They were realizing that attacking humans was a mistake. But the battle was not over. Not yet. The hardest fighting was still to come. The battle continued. It was not simple. It was not easy. It was the kind of battle where people died, where ships fell from the sky, where families lost people they loved. But it was also the kind of battle where something important happened, something that the galaxy would remember for a long time. Alana Harrow sat in her command center. She was looking at the Krell ships. She was looking for their weakness. Every ship has a weakness. Every army has a weakness. Elena had spent her whole life learning how to find those weaknesses. She saw it. The Krell ships were strong on the sides. They had heavy weapons there. But the back was weaker. The back had less protection. The back was where their main engines were. Elena sent a message to Nathan Cross. Can your strike force hit the back of their main ship? That is where they are weak. Nathan understood immediately. He had been a soldier long enough to understand what Elena was asking. She was asking him to sacrifice ships. She was asking him to risk lives. But she was asking him to do something that could win the battle. Nathan looked at his fleet. 50 ships. Good ships. Good soldiers. Good people. We can do it, Nathan said. Give us cover, and we will hit their back. Elena sent 50 of her own ships to cover Nathan's attack. She left herself with fewer ships. She left herself with less protection. But she did it because Nathan needed that protection. Because the strike force needed to succeed. Because saving the colony was more important than protecting her own ships. Nathan's ships moved. They moved very fast. They moved toward the back of the Krell main ship. The Krell commanders did not expect this. They did not expect anyone to attack their main ship. They had never been attacked like this before. Nathan's ships came in fast. They fired their weapons. The Krell main ship was hit. It was hit bad. Explosions happened inside the ship. The engines started to fail. The ship began to slow down. Nathan lost 10 ships in this attack. 10 ships full of soldiers. Soldiers who had families on Earth. Soldiers who had come to save a colony. But their sacrifice meant that the Krell main ship was crippled. Their sacrifice meant that the battle was changing. The Krell commander was in his ship when it got hit. He was an old commander. He had fought in many battles. But he had never felt fear like this. He had never seen an enemy fight like this. He watched as more human ships attacked. He watched as human ships died to save other human ships. He watched as humans protected each other. Again and again. Again and again. No matter what, they protected each other. The Krell commander did not understand this. The Krell did not do this. The Krell fought for themselves. The Krell took what they wanted. The Krell did not die for others, but humans did. Humans died for family. Humans died for strangers. Humans died because they believed that protecting each other was more important than living alone. Margaret Foster was in her science fleet. She did not have big weapons. She did not have strong ships made for war. But she had something else. She had smart people. She had people who studied the Krell technology. Margaret looked at the Krell ship design. She looked at how their weapons worked. She found something. She found a pattern. She found something that the Krell commanders did not expect. Margaret sent a message to Elena. Their weapons are connected to their navigation system. If we can disrupt their navigation, we can disrupt their weapons. Elena understood. She sent this information to all 2,000 ships. She told them how to attack. She told them where to hit. She told them to work together. The human ships moved. They moved together. They attacked the same parts of the Krell ships. They attacked with coordination. They attacked with planning. They attacked like one big family. The Krell ships began to fail. One after another. The weapons stopped working. The ships could not move right. The Krell could not attack anymore. The Krell commander sat in his crippled ship. He understood now. He understood that he had made a mistake. He understood that attacking humans was the worst thing he could do. He ordered his remaining ships to retreat. He ordered them to leave. He ordered them to go back to sleep for another 1,000 years. The Krell fleet turned and left. They ran from the human fleet. They ran because they understood that humans were not weak. Humans were dangerous. Humans were deadly. But not for themselves. Humans were deadly for family. When the last Krell ship disappeared, the human fleet was silent for a moment. Then, people started cheering. On every ship. In every command center. On every communications channel. Humans were cheering because they had saved their family. Because they had done what they came to do. Because they had not failed. On the colony surface, Governor Patricia Wells walked out of the shelter. The fighting was over. The colony was safe. The people came out. They looked at the sky. They saw human ships everywhere. They saw thousands of ships. Ships that had come from across the galaxy to save them. Patricia cried. She could not stop crying. She had thought her colony would die. She had thought her people would be lost. But they were saved. They were saved by humans who came from far away. By humans who risked their lives. By humans who believed that no human should ever be left alone. Commander Daniel Reeves sent a message to all human ships. This is Reeves. The colony is secure. The Krell have retreated. Now we work on rescue. We take all the survivors. We take all the wounded. We take them home. Because no one gets left behind. That is what we do. That is who we are. Elena Harrows went to the colony surface. She met Governor Patricia Wells. They stood together and looked at the people coming out of the shelters. Children, old people, families, all of them scared, all of them alive. I thought we were forgotten, Patricia said. When the first attack came, I thought no one would help us. I thought we would die here. Elena put her hand on Patricia's shoulder. In humanity, no one is ever forgotten. That is what makes us different from everyone else. That is what makes us dangerous to our enemies and loyal to our own. The rescue began. Human ships landed. Soldiers came out. They helped people into the ships. They helped the wounded. They helped the scared children. They did this carefully. They did this with respect. Because these were their family. These were their people. Jonathan Miles was still in the communications center. He was sending messages to all the rescue teams. He was making sure everyone was safe. He was making sure no one was left behind. He thought about what he had seen in this battle. He thought about how humans fought. He thought about how they protected each other. He thought about how they were willing to die for strangers, for people they had never met before. This was what it meant to be human. This was the secret of human strength. Not weapons, not technology, not size or power. The secret was that humans took care of each other. Humans stood together. The rescue took 3 days. 3 days of human ships going back and forth. 3 days of soldiers helping people. 3 days of humans saving humans. When the last survivor was brought onto a human ship, the fleet began to move. They began to move back toward Earth. Back toward human space. Back toward home. As they left, the colony buildings were left behind. But the people were saved. The families were saved. The children were saved. On the way home, Daniel Reeves sent a message to all the human fleets. He sent it through every communications channel. He sent it so every human in space would hear it. "We have done what we were asked to do," Reeves said. "We have brought our people home. We have shown the galaxy what humans are. We are not the strongest species. We do not have the best weapons. But we have something that no other species has. We have unity. We have loyalty. We have the willingness to die for each other. This is what makes us dangerous. This is what makes us human. Remember this moment. Remember that when humans stand together, nothing can stop us. Remember that we take care of our own, always. As the human fleets moved through space toward home, something changed in the galaxy. Other species began to talk about what they had seen. They began to understand that humans were not like them. Humans were special. Humans had something that came from their harsh home planet. Humans had bonds that could not be broken. And in the hearts of every human in those fleets, something grew. Something deep. Something that said, I am part of something bigger than myself. I am part of a family that stretches across the stars. I am part of humanity. And humanity never abandons its own. The story of Colony 7's rescue became a legend. It became a story that humans told their children. It became a story that showed what humans could do when they stood together. It became proof that love is stronger than weapons. That family is stronger than fear. That humans are stronger together than they could ever be alone.